for that. Still not ready. Didn't announce this one or anything, but we're live at 5 at 4. You already know the drill, baby. You sit in my cave of darkness in here. You'd think I'd get more prepared for these type things, but I didn't. What's happening, River? Oh, River Jennings. What's up, Montoya? Sorry, as I was saying, not prepared. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was planning on doing a live stream on Tuesday, and time got away from me. So, we're doing one today. Someone said the Kubota is coming along nicely, and it is, for sure. I'm waiting on, we still haven't messed with my lathe. All it needs is the pulleys aligned, and I know that seems like a simple task, but I've been crazy busy. Oh my gosh, about to knock this thing over. Just trying to we've been doing a few customer things like tune-ups and stuff, but what are your thoughts on India? Have no clue. Don't know much about India, but yeah. So, Michael asked, "How's the family? They're all doing good. Grayson just went to bed, and Miss Redbeard is going to bed, and Aubrey is already in bed. So, but we're going to try to start doing live streams on Tuesday. That seems like kind of a dead time in people's period, their week work schedule. Tuesday, not a lot's going on. People's probably broke from the weekend, so we're gonna start doing them on Tuesday. We're gonna try to. I've been trying to get back on schedule, which we've been doing pretty good, where we have Monday and Friday video uploads. I've thought about doing Monday and Thursday because I just feel like people are doing stuff on Friday. What do you guys think about Thursday instead of Friday? Does it matter to you when videos come out, basically? And I quit working at 5 today, and then just been sitting in the apartment, just hanging out, living life. Took a small nap. But yeah, Mondays has always been mini bike Mondays. If we have a mini bike, of course, video, which we've been doing a few things with mini bike. But someone's asking what happened to the BT200X. BT200X, I guess that's the BT200X. We got a frame sitting outside with no forks. No, like it's a stripped down frame. But I haven't really wanted to do anything with it, so if I did, I would do pretty much the same thing we did to the 301 bike, which would be a swing arm. Probably do a different type swing arm, but yeah. But the 301 bike, it'll be for sale as soon as it's done, because it's just, I don't want to keep stuff. I tell you, I want to get rid of so much stuff. It's hard to store stuff at this point. We need to build a lean-to on the build, and I'm going to sell my enclosed trailer and use that to fund a lean-to setup. And so that's the next big modification to the shop. I finally parked my buggy outside under a very nice car cover, and while we're doing the limo golf cart, we sold it to our church. And we're having to build step bars. We had to pull the bed off of it and do a rear seat. Had to put the stock card back on it just because it's way better, in an application like a church having it. And we have to reroute the exhaust because we put that back seat on it. So last thing to do is reroute the exhaust, extend the throttle cable, and then paint the step bars tomorrow. So it should leave on Saturday if everything goes good. And yeah, so you guys got any questions? This is the smallest live stream we've had in a really long time, probably because of the time and that we didn't announce it. I'm going to go through some of the questions. I'm just going to randomly start saying the question and answering it. What kind of gear oil do you use in the reverse gearboxes? I use 80/90, just, you know, rear end oil. Do you know of any kind of 3-speed gearboxes? I do not. I'm sure there's some type of car gearbox you can use, but I haven't messed with trying to really find anything. What oil besides Tillotson and Briggs T4 can I use in a Tillotson 212? You can use any. You can use Dollar Store 1030. Actually, there was a YouTube video just a couple weeks ago where they tested um, dollar store oil against really expensive oil, and what I got from the video is basically it's all about the same. I mean, like in my supercharged buggy, I'm not going to run cheap oil, but in something like a mini bike, I mean, I just use Napa brand 1030. There's no way I would ever uh, mess with super expensive oil and something like that. Have you ever Lincoln lockered an Easy Go rear end? No, I have not. I like an Easy Go being open diff, just because for one, it's less strain. I feel like on the diff, and those diffs are kind of expensive. I mean, they're just as much as messing with a car diff, but no, I haven't. Never messed with. My buggy has a Hillard locker in it. Um, 13 tooth front sprocket. Can I get 60 mph with the stage 1 kit? I have no clue because I don't know your tire size, your rear sprocket, how many RPMs you're pushing. There's a lot of we say this all the time. Um, you need a lot more information than just you need like 4 or 5 things before you can know what your overall is going to be. Street Rossi says, "Did you ever finish the bus? We got a camper door, and I needed some 2.5 inch wide, 1/8 inch flat stock to kind of make the threshold of the door. I just bought it on Monday, I think, or Tuesday. So now I basically tomorrow, hopefully, if everything goes right, me and Lonnie's going to mount that door. We got to cut a weird piece of sheet metal because it's a curved top. We'll put that in, and then hopefully on Monday we'll be able to put the AC in it. We're just doing a window unit in one of the back windows because we kind of changed around the layout of the bus. We had the couch in there that's kind of like a love seat that lays down as a bed, but the only problem is I'm 6 foot tall, so my feet hangs off the bed about a foot off that fold out bed. So what we're going to do is that's going to be the kids' bed. They're probably not going to like sharing a bed, but the bottom bunk I can extend it out to the couch, and a queen size mattress will fit perfect on it. So what we're going to do is buy an 8 inch memory foam mattress off of Amazon. I'm going to extend that bed out, and then under the bed I'm going to build a wall so you have inside storage and outside storage you access from opening the back door. And then the top bunk will just become a storage rack because there's not a ton of storage in that bus. So that top bunk won't be used as a bed anymore. We can still use it as a bed in the future, but for now we'll just use it as a storage. And then we'll build a 2 foot back porch on it. And that why I'm going with 2 foot is because that's how wide my generator is. So we'll be able to put our generators and propane tanks and everything on the back porch, build a drop hitch under that back porch, and then when we get to our destination, pull the generators off, and we'll have a propane powered shower, and the shower will double as a toilet. It'll have a like this toilet off Amazon. It's like $150 setup, and there's a lot to do on the bus. It won't be done for a while, but it'll be campable in hopefully another week. Sorry, I went on a rant. Someone did a super chat. Dustin, I don't know your last name. Thank you so much for your donation. Slam the Suburban, swap 1 ton axle, make it an RBG tow rig. And thank you for your donation, Dustin. It helps out a ton. The thing about the old Suburban is the only reason we did that trade, that I knew the Suburban wasn't worth what we was trading. My value on the Argo was about 5 to 6 grand is what I was thinking I could get out of it. So the only reason the Argo was worth trading for that Suburban was the potential of getting subscribers from Finnegan. That was the only reason we really did it. And we get there, and the Suburban's in way worse shape than we thought, which was no big deal. It was like, who cares? But I did have the Suburban sold if it was in decent shape. My mom wanted it. In fact, my mom still wants it, but I'm trying to talk her into not buying it because I think it's junk. It just needs so much work, and it's just a Suburban at the end of the day. Isn't like it's a square body short bed or something. But so another thing that sucked really bad was the Suburban didn't come with a title, and I did not know that, or I probably wouldn't have did the trade in the first place. I can get a title for it. It's just a headache of and do all the headache stuff at the DMV or at the local county clerk on getting a title, and I don't even want to do it to sell it for. Um, it's almost, it's pretty much worth $1,000 to me, setting the way it is. Um, so that really sucked not having a title. That was a bummer, and we didn't know that until we got there. What are you going to do? You're already there to do the trade. I mean, he was nice enough to give us that carb, that elite carb. That's I could probably if I wanted to sell that, that's a $700 carb. So that means we traded a $5,000 Argo for, let's even give it the benefit of the doubt, 2 grand. That's what sucks. Nacho's dad's garage. I'd kiss you on the mouth if you give me a title for it. That would make it a lot easier to sell. You know, I haven't even messed with trying to get it. I'm sure I can, but so I don't know what it's still stuck in the woods from the last video. It is sitting where we left it, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I don't honestly. I don't want to put any time in it whatsoever. I would rather someone come buy it from me, get it off my property, and just be done with that and just close that chapter. To be honest, usually I trade up. That I knew that was a trade down, but you know, you win some, you lose some. Uh, we have already sold the diesel Deuce pretty much. It's like a 95% sale. One of my friends called me and really wants it real bad, which kind of sucks. I mean, it's an awesome vehicle, but I'm the type I'll sell anything. If someone wanted to buy my buggy tomorrow, my supercharged buggy, take that mother, because um, I'm not attached to anything. I got a goal in life, and I'll sell everything I got to get to that goal. So the Deuce, unfortunately, will be sold as soon as it's done, and we're waiting on some bearing housings to get done at the machine shop and some CV flanges, and then we can finish off we can start building the trailing arms, get the rear end finished, and then start mocking up the turbo. I got to build a new manifold for it because I want the turbo in a different location, and I don't like how the manifold is built and stuff. Like where it's located, it's so close to the seat, so I'm wanting to redo it. So the Deuce will be sold, and like I said, we did sell the limo golf cart, and we got 3 customer projects that'll hopefully be gone by Monday, and then we can get back to our normal work. Someone said something about a 212 Ghost. Where was that at? And I haven't heard anything about that. Um, I can't find your comment. So someone said something about a 212, a Predator 212 Ghost coming out. So let's look up that puppy. Computer did update. No, she ain't turned it on. Uh, must have went hardcore hibernation mode. So did you ever sell Little Red? I did. I still have Braxton's Little Red frame. If you remember it, it was the better version of Little Red that we redid, but it still needs finished. Basically, Braxton had it, was going to paint it, never did do anything. Like he just rode it and played on it, and then he traded it in on a motorcycle we had, and he sold the motorcycle to buy his first truck. We're actually about to get Braxton's old Little Red frame out and put a big block on it, even if we have to build a new back section to the frame. That's what we're going to do to it, and just make like a stupid fun haver, um, and then that's basically going to be the gist of it. Um, what's the furthest customer you ever had? How did the project get to you? So I like questions like that. It makes me think. Furthest question or customer, I would guess Arkansas, because what we did was when we was at Pate's 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. I can't remember. Might have been the last time. Yeah, I guess it was the last time we was at Pate's. We had the mini chopper there, and I did not want to bring that mini chopper back. Like I liked it, but it was just done, like we was done with it. I didn't want to do anything else with it. So we met a guy named Josh Mink who basically planned his birthday trip. Him and his wife was, I guess they do something real special for for their birthdays every year, and he wanted to come down to Pates and meet us and stuff. And hey, it was like a round trip. He was going somewhere else, but he stopped by, met us, and ended up buying the mini chopper for $500. We sold it ultra cheap. We wanted to get rid of it. I could not bring it home. I didn't have the room for it. So a year later, he texted me and wants a deuce, and I sold my deuce to Bad Al Hell Racing. He ended up blowing the diff on it, and then he ended up selling it to Scott the Deuce Man. And he didn't sell it with the engine at first, but later he sold the engine to Scott the Deuce Man. So Scott the Deuce Man ended up having the deuce after selling it to me. So he texted me and said he's kind of thinking about getting the deuce. What did I think about him? So what I ended up doing was calling Scott Deuce Man and like, how much would you take for the engine? How much for the deuce? And how much would you sell me your parts diff to fix that diff? Basically, it all went together. So Arkansas was the farthest build we've done. I did build some mini bikes for a guy in Chicago. He met me 4 hours away to buy them. It was a father and son pair of mini bikes. One was a Monster Moto 212. One was a Coleman EX model. And so yeah, that is the probably the farthest, Chicago or Arkansas. We don't do a lot of customer stuff like full builds just because like I'm sure I would modify something for somebody, but we really need to get a few things set in place before we mess with that. Because in reality, people want to sue you. We've said that 1,000 times, and that's my biggest fear: is someone would try to take what we've built away from us out of greed. Because this stuff, anything could happen. With this stuff, and that's what scares me. Is, um, I wish I could have a not care attitude and just build stuff for people, but um, the drag mini bike ended up in Chicago. Brad Hill, the guy that builds our gas tanks for us, he ended up wanting it. He comes to Tennessee for their anniversary trip every year, so he ended up coming down and buying it from us. And take it didn't have an engine on it. I sold the Stage 4 212 to a guy. I think he was in Nashville, somewhere around that. And I don't know if they're still racing it, but they've been racing it for a while and beating on that engine. So that's cool to know my engine's out there, running in races and had, as far as I know, no problems out of it. But but yeah. So all right. I really appreciate all the support. I always feel like the people that's in the live streams are always your real fans. Like your real supporters. I don't like to call you guys fans because makes me sound like I'm full of myself. Uh, but are you planning on stiffening the diesel Deuces chassis at all? If you're talking about just the rigidity of it, the Deuces are actually really, really well built. Um, Thank you, Ronan85. I really appreciate it. Kind words are always super nice and encouraging words. They're always needed. But the Deuces are actually, well, they're kind of well built and kind of not at the same time. Manco did a lot of, it's a really unique chassis. If you look at a Deuce, they look simple, but they're not. They got a lot of weird curvatures that it's pretty crazy. It'd be hard for me to copy a Deuce and build one just like it. Like a mimic it, it would be extremely hard. There's some weird bends that I don't even know if I could pull off in my bender. It looks like a CNC bender would have been it, but um, so yes, we'll be stiffening it in places. It don't need a ton. The cage isn't welded on. It'll be welded on. The roof X's will give it a lot of strength. We're going to build a roof rack for it. We're going to cage in the front like an ABS plastic sides. Build some doors for it. It's going to be a sweet rig, and I'm really excited to drive it for the first time. We'll be running about 4 or 5 pounds of boost on that diesel. We'll turn the fuel up. We're going to have a 3-inch stack on it, which 3 inch is overkill, but I think proportion-wise it needs a 3-inch, in my opinion. And, but yeah. So, sorry, had to take the old dip out of my lip. Input on a bully clutch, are they good for long rides? I mean, I think a bully clutch is like putting a stage 3 clutch off eBay in your daily. I don't think it's something. If you're just riding your bike and having fun on it, I would say don't go with the bully because the money you're going to spend on a bully clutch, what are they, like 300 bucks? They're really good clutches. I mean, they're amazing clutches, but I don't think it's good uh, as like a daily driver, if you will. But so I had someone ask the best combo welder and plasma cutter. I'm telling you guys, the best welders I've used for the money. I'm not saying they're the best out there, but we had a $1,500 Everlast. We got sponsored by Everlast, and we actually bought the welder. They just gave us a huge discount on it, but we loved it. It was a great welder. Then Prime Welds, I actually contacted them because I've heard so much good stuff about their welders, and we wanted someone that was really going to support us. Jesse Hall is the guy in the chat. He's buying the Deuce. Well, maybe. We'll see how that plays out. I might put too high of a price tag on it for him. but Prime Welds has some sweet welders. I'm telling you, they are. I love them for their price point. If I was to tell anybody getting into welding, that's what I would go with for sure. Someone was asking about a Juggernaut. I still stand behind the Juggernaut. The only reason I took the Juggernaut off Grayson's go-kart was I like how, for one, he don't need a Juggernaut to be honest, but I also like how the stock pulleys for a kid has that brass bushing on it, and it helps with, like, we got his belt a little too tight and there's no adjustment on it. So that brass bushing helps it from not to squeak at idle. It was having a little bit of squeaking. We put the stock pulley on it, took the Juggernaut off, and it was way better now. It don't squeak. But but yeah, we had. Oh, and I got a video coming out on like how I work on go karts and make money off of it, like how much I would charge to do a simple go kart job. And I might not tell my hour rate. I might. I don't know if I will or not. But of course, that's up to you guys. How you think you're. Thank you, Dylan. Your skill level is what's going to determine how much you can charge for repair work. But we have a little Carter go kart in the garage, and we're waiting on the tires to get put on the rims. But I'm doing a video on how it came in the garage, how it left, how long it took, and what we charged. Basically, how much money profit you can make off something like this. And again, I don't really know if I want to say like my hourly rate that I get from my shop. But you got to think this is a very expensive shop to have, and my price is going to be a lot cheap or a lot more expensive than you if you're working at your dad's garage or whatever the case is. But yeah, so we have that video coming out. Also a golf cart that we did. Again, just showing you guys how easy it is on these small engines to make money. Every community is different. Ours, I don't know of anybody other than like a lawn and garden shop, like an actual dealer that works on lawnmowers. There used to be one in town, and he was just awful from what everybody said. I don't know. I didn't take my stuff to him, of course, but he would keep your stuff forever and not get it fixed. So I'm thinking about taking on one repair job a week, like whether it's a lawnmower, golf cart, whatever, just like simple tune-ups and repairs. Yeah, Ronan, every time I ever hear of a small engine shop, 90% of them are horrible. And so yeah, we got 2 golf carts in this week and 1 go-kart for customer repairs. And they're all like really good paying jobs. They're super easy, and these people want to pay because there's no one around here that'll do it, or they'll drop their stuff off and it'll be there for a month. And I've had this go kart for 1 week, and I only worked on it for a day, and I've been waiting on the tires. Had some really rough 2-piece wheels on it. That was just awful. Actually, Co-op can't even get them done. They think I bought a faulty tire. I bought 2 new tires for it, So that sucks. It's been sitting in the garage. I'll show it to you. It's been propped up against the deuce. Uh, you can see the yellow. It's standing up against the deuce, and it's been sitting there for a week, and it drives me crazy because there's nothing else I can do on it. I might have to push it outside tomorrow until the tires get back. I don't mess with tires. It ain't worth my time. They're horrible. Um, so someone's asking, can I put a PLV or billet flywheel on a 212E, a Tillotson 212E with no billet rod? Um, you can, but you're going to lose your electric start. I don't know if they make the electric start flywheels yet for like Tillotsons and stuff. The billet ones, I don't think they do. So, so basically, no. As far as I know, you can't unless you put a regular flywheel and you'll lose the electric start. Um, so Rizzo 529, the Deuce was made in Fort Wayne. And a little history on the Deuce. When the Deuce came out, no one was really making like side by sides or anything. You could get a Kawasaki Mule, which was all work, you know, and no play. Mules are awful. That's why we sold ours. Like they are made to work, and that's it. You could take it to Windrock and stuff, but it wouldn't be that great of a ride. That bench seat, they're just not made for playing. So when Bill Hatlam came up with the Deuce, he literally drew it on a napkin and gave it to his engineer and said, "We need to build this because Honda had their three wheelers, and I think they had a few four wheelers out at the time, and it was they had the market that like people that wanted to go on hunting trips, they was buying three wheelers and four wheelers, and basically he wanted to build something so he could get in that market because no one was going to buy a four wheeler or three wheeler and end up with a go kart. That's the reality. So he wanted to get into that next level in the market with his, which is basically side by sides. So he drew it up on a napkin, gave it to his engineer, and they built it in 1 week. So the first Deuce came out 1 week after he drew it on a napkin, and one of I don't know if it was the president or what it was of Manco actually took it on a lot of hunting trips, and people was just like, "What is this thing?" You know, he'd be at these hunting lodges and stuff, and people was just blown away. And little fun fact about the Deuce, it'll fit in a standard truck bed with the tailgate shut. That's the way it was designed. It was made so you can pull it in the bed of your truck and haul it places. This diesel one will not do that anymore. We've widened it and everything. But so then Bill Hatlam sold Manco and to a group of investors, I think from New York. These are people that know nothing about building stuff. Um, they just wanted to buy this company and make money off of it. And that's what happened to Manco. Is once Bill Hatlam sold it, they basically scrapped the Deuce. They didn't care about it. They got rid of it, and then they started redesigning everything to compete with. And this was about the time Chinese started getting into the market with like 150 buggies and stuff. You got to think it went from like single A-arm Yerf dogs, horrible go karts. You know, I mean, in the suspension world, that's the most crude way to have suspension is like a single A-arm, or even the Deuce had the single J-arm, trailing arm front suspension. It was the crudest way to have suspension. You get a lot of bump steer and everything. It's just not a good design, but it's cheap and easy. Well, when the Chinese got in the market, they could produce 150 go karts with steering racks, you know, double A-arm front suspension. They could do it so cheap that there's no way American companies could compete. You know, because at the end of the day, a consumer wants to buy the cheapest thing possible, and then they want to gripe about it when it breaks. They don't want to buy like American quality built stuff because of the price point, but they want to gripe at how it's a piece of junk when they buy it, you know. So that's what happened to Manco is they sold to a group of investors who ran it into the ground pretty much. So it's just a little piece, and I never have finished editing the second episode to the interview with Bill Hatlam. Um, but yeah, so I think I was looking for my phone. I'm doing a live stream on it. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna have to plug my phone up because she is dying. Live streams are hard on it. Bless her. Um, but I wanted to to give you that little piece of history. About Moto Meal, Thomas. Moto Meal's still doing good. He just bought a new shop. I'm assuming he bought it, but he has a new shop, so he's been moving into that shop and stuff, getting everything. I'm sure that's hectic. I can't imagine moving his shop because he has way more stuff than I have when I moved. Luckily, I had some good friends that came. Bubs, Etard, Bubsification on YouTube, Etard's Adventures. Who else came? I think Randy was here. I can't remember. But we had a crew. Nacho's dad's garage was here. They all came down, helped us, and uh, it was a huge help. We got that. We moved my whole entire garage to this one. I think it was one trip. We all had a trailer on our truck. We loaded everything other than like my weld table, but we emptied out my garage in one single trip, and it took us like honestly an hour and a half maybe. It might have even been quicker than that to load everything, come and unload it. It was insane what good friends will help you achieve. But Moto Meal was just by itself, just his kids and stuff helping him. So it was a rough time. Uh, but someone's asked how our collaboration with Finnegan went. It was pretty good. It was. It's always weird meeting someone you watch. Like I don't fan out or anything. It's like, oh my gosh, it's Finnegan. But it takes a good few hours to get used to someone's like. One thing about Finnegan, he's super chill. Like he's a great guy and stuff. Super chill. Like you don't get excited much over stuff, which I'm used to. Me and Lonnie acting like idiots, and stuff like that. And Braxton when he's over here, we all act like retards. So probably not the best word to use, but but he was just so chill. It was hard to like peg his sense of humor. But other than that, it was a good time. It was just us filming pretty much. That's about all that got done. Those type, when we go like the cars and cameras, we have a blast because John has the same. We can joke around. John has really close sense of humor as me and Lonnie, and Isaac is too. John's more of the act stupid sense of humor with me and Lonnie, but we always have a really good time when we go to John's because we're in our comfort zone. We can do whatever. So that's always a good time. And we do have a collaboration planned in the next couple months with John up at doing the next race at his place, and they're coming down around October here for a race. When are you coming to Windrock to hang out with the mini bike guys? Well, see, now we have some mini bikes going. My 301 is pretty much done. We got a video coming out tomorrow where we stiffen the forks, which made it way better. So that'll be out tomorrow. And so that means the 301 is like super close. We got to tune the carb just a hair bit more, probably move the needle up in the slide, and then it'll be ready to take for a ride. So that's what I'm thinking will be my bike is a 301. Lonnie will be on his 212 Tillotson, and we're going to re-gear both of them and build them, like put a 60 tooth on both, I think, and that'll make them way better. And I do have to get rid of those big tires on the 301. They're such a flat profile tire; it wants to stand you up when you're when you're leaning in a curve. It just feels like it constantly wants to stand you up. So, did the CT 200U swing arm and suspension workout because I want to build one for my EX. It works out really good. It's way better than factory. And after tomorrow's video, we show you how to stiffen the forks, and it takes like 30 minutes for you and a friend to make your forks twice the thickness, the stiffness, and it's way better. I'm telling you that it's night and day difference on a Coleman bike. You have to do it if you own one for sure. Even for a 150-pound guy like Lonnie, it made a massive difference. My favorite project is probably I've been having a lot of fun with the Deuce. The Argo was fun to put back together. Everything went smoothly, and I love having something 100% tore apart and getting to fully put it back together. See you, Nate. Good night. But I'd say the Diesel Deuce has been the most fun that I've had in a while. The four-wheel drive buggy, we've been working on it here and there. And we've said this before. The reason you don't see many videos like come out quickly on the four-seater buggy is every YouTube channel works differently. And we have certain paid sponsors that we do videos for, and they basically help us to continue to do this career by paying for sponsored spots and videos. So we have to get those videos done, and we put ourselves out there for so many videos a month for that. So those are the most important, is doing the sponsored videos, because without them we wouldn't be able to do this as a career, because YouTube don't pay enough for of an income to just only have that. I wish it did. You know, we're not that size of a channel. Like if we was probably cars and camera size, it would be a different story. We wouldn't necessarily depend on sponsors. But since we're, you know, almost at 300,000 subscribers, and we, you know, get a million or so views a month, that's not enough to live off YouTube, especially for a family of four in this economy. So, um, but uh, but yeah, so it takes a while to build your channel up. And you know, when you're in a niche like we are, we're in go karts. They come and go. You know, they get big, they go down. It's just like you ride the wave. Right now, I feel like go karts parts are selling like crazy, but views aren't up on go karts like they used to be. And I understand, like I don't like to do simple go karts no more, because it's boring for you guys to watch, because you've seen us do them 1,000 times. So we're trying to think of like just little stuff to do to little go karts, so we make fun videos faster and bring more fun back in the channel, because it gets serious when you're engineering a buggy from scratch. There's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of stuff in the background. Um, One video I edited the other day had 35 hours of content in it to make a 20-minute video. If you can imagine how much more work went in off camera of notching tube, cleaning tube. I mean, it's just crazy. But you know, you have to run this as a successful business, and we look at how much we spend on stuff. You know, it's just like a store, pretty much. You really got to be smart with how you run a business, and that's the reason you don't see these big builds happen that fast. I wish I could do them, but if YouTube, once we get to that level on YouTube, uh, we can not do so many sponsored videos, which would be awesome for us, because it opens up doors for us to do whatever we want to. Um, so someone said, "Is your buggy under a tarp because it's done, or are you neglecting yourself?" Neglecting myself. Um, so what it is we pulled the pulley last week and put the new spring in it from Dirty Dog Performance, and now we can start tuning the CVT. The CVT is engaging at about 2,500 to 3 grand. Like I think the spring helped out a lot. Before, it was starting to engage at around 2,800 RPMs. It was fully engaged and actually taken off at like 3,200. That's a lot of power left on the table. So now it's time. Now that we got our air fuel ratios pretty good, we still probably need to tune that a little bit, but I can't tell until I get my pulley where I need it. So next week on Tuesday, I'm finally filming the video of tuning my CVT pulley. Once that's done, there's a little few tweaks I got to do to just stuff like the gas pedal. I just cobbled it up real quick. So we're gonna fix it, and then we're gonna do like abuse it a little bit. I'm gonna jump a dirt pile and stuff, like really test stuff, because I think the suspension needs stiffened up just a little bit, and um, and then we're gonna take it to a place like Windrock and really see what it'll do once it's all tuned in. Then the engine comes off and it goes to get dynoed, so we can prove what kind of horsepower we're making. We don't know. I'm thinking 70 is what we're pushing for, but. Um, so yeah, that's the next point. Next thing is those couple videos happen. The engine comes off, we're gonna full dyno video. While it's off, the chassis gets 100% finished and powder coated, and then we put it back together for the reveal of it completely done. So Ronan said, honestly, RBG, you have come a long way. Your channel is always improving, and the information is absolutely on point. Like what you do, a wide range of stuff. We really appreciate the kind words. Uh, put a lot into this channel, I tell you. Honda Monkey 125 going ape Australia. That's a long name. For one, I really appreciate all the off-time camera and editing that goes in your channel. Your dedication is amazing. We appreciate that a ton. It's always nice to know that you're appreciated for sure. And someone say make a two-stroke shifter cart. We made one, and that was at the time we was buying this property and stuff, so it never fully got done up nice. But we have some two-stroke engines we're gonna mess with very very soon. Um, do you do all your own editing? Yes, I've been asked 1,000 times from like companies to edit my videos, make thumbnails and stuff, and I've always turned them down because I don't think there's no problem with getting someone to edit your videos, but a couple things about editing your own videos. Basically, I feel like that's kind of your lower my chair so I can lean back. I feel like editing your own videos keeps like that's what you're seeing is my view on how this video should look. So I feel like if I let someone else edit my videos, it's not going to be my videos no more. Even though I'm filming them and coming up with ideas, like when I used to do these bigger videos, I could watch the video in my head before making it. So I knew exactly how I needed to lay everything out to achieve the video that was in my head. And it's always such a achievement when you get it has so much satisfaction when you see that video in your head and you get to see it fully come to life how you watched it in your head. So so yeah, I do all my editing. Miss Redbeard will film. I would say she films like 40% of what we do, maybe 50%, because like summertime's rough. She was gone all day at basketball games with my daughter, so so she wasn't here at all today. So me and Lonnie kind of had to tripod the camera, and I pay Lonnie an hourly wage to be here. Um, so basically, I don't want him holding the camera because I don't want to pay. Like my way of thinking is that's what Becca's here for. You know, she can hold the camera. So when she's not here and we have to tripod it, it does bring the quality of video down quite a bit. You know, it's so much better with someone holding that camera. It adds so much to it. So if you do have a YouTube channel, I do suggest trying to get a friend. Even if you can say, "Hey, we'll work on your stuff on some videos," if you can't afford to pay them, um, you know, because Lonnie worked here for years just to hang out because he had nothing else to do, and he was just helping a friend out. And then we finally started paying him back when we started Patreon, and it still wasn't worth the amount of time he put in. But that's why I never pushed Lonnie. Like I never was like, you know, hard on him or anything. Like I'm hard on him, just acting stupid, but I didn't care if he sat on his phone and stuff because at the end of the day, I'm not paying him an hourly wage. I can't be a jerk to him. Um, so So what I ended up doing was when we moved in this shop, I sat down and talked to Lonnie and said, "Listen, this is the amount of money we can pay you an hour." We actually gave him $3 more an hour than we originally was planning on. So because I wanted to drive him to work harder for me because I want to show that he's, you know, we give Christmas bonuses here and everything. I try to treat people like I would want to be treated from an employer. Um, so hopefully Lonnie makes it even further, you know. But Jeff Stone, thank you so much for your donation. It helps out a ton. Thank you everybody who gave a donation. Jeff Stone says, visualizing yourself crossing the finish line and make it happen means a lot. I appreciate it, man. We really appreciate the donations. Jason J, thank you so much. He said behind the scenes, but so yeah, every bit Lonnie's here. We work Lonnie about 3 days a week, 5 hours a day. He works for a guy, gets off at like 11. He goes in real early, gets off at 11, and then he'll work about 4 to 5 hours. Today he worked, I think, 3 hours because he had to do some family stuff. But and there's some weeks Lonnie only works 2 days. Um, but yeah, we want to grow this, of course, and it's really hard to learn how to grow it. That's the best for everybody. That's the hardest thing with this is a weird career, you know, and we're treating it like a shop that brings in work, but not really because we went months without doing work for anybody, and then all of a sudden I had a bunch of people ask me to do to me really easy stuff, and our shop rate, you know, is we make good money hourly here working on people's stuff. So I was like, I need to start doing one just quick repair a week, but it's stupid to have this huge shop and just do like I have the dead time sometimes when I'm waiting on parts or waiting on this that we can knock out a lawnmower, let's say, or a golf cart. So, and no one knows this yet, and I didn't want to. I've not announced it yet, like on Instagram or anything, just because it's not here yet. But we did put our hold on our side by side. So I've been wanting a side by side forever, and side by sides are extremely expensive, and I wanted something that was brand new. I didn't want to use a side by side that someone's abused or didn't maintenance. I wanted something brand new because it's something I'll keep forever. If I'm paying that kind of money, I'm the type I buy it and get my money's worth out of it. Repair it when it breaks and service it on time. So I looked at a lot of side by sides. I knew I wanted a four seater for sure because we're a family of four, and that's the biggest thing is when we go to Windrock. That's why it's so much stress on me is I have to have Lonnie something to ride, my wife, me, Braxton if he comes. That's a lot of vehicles to get ready, and they have to be decent vehicles. And that's why the last meetup it sucked. I had to end up riding the Ace again because we did customer projects, and those aren't projects we own. Randy was there with one of the builds, with his build, but basically, uh, so let me do this super real quick. Thank you so much, Bob Griffin. He said just started a YouTube channel doing mini bikes and go kart revivals. Currently filming with 2 iPhones and a GoPro 7. What camera do you recommend we get? Honestly, if you can make it with iPhones, I've seen people doing really good content with iPhones, but I have the Sony AX33, and I'm telling you, if it broke today, I would buy the next version up, which they just came out with. I think it's like the AX70 or something. The AX33 is about an $800 camera, but I'm telling you, it will blow your mind at the performance. It is the best camera, hands down. It has a gimbal lens, so inside the lens is on a gimbal, so you don't get shaky or nothing. Um, that's the camera, AX33 Sony. You can get them at Best Buy. They're amazing. They got a 53 too. It's a little bit more expensive, has a few like slow motion features that the 33 don't have. But honestly, the 33 is just as good of a camera for maybe $100 to $200 cheaper. So that's what I go with. Thank you for your donation. But the side by side that we end up putting a hold on, basically we couldn't find one anywhere. We called. I spent 2 hours 2 Fridays ago calling every dealership in the state that sells these side by sides, and no one had one, and everybody had like 5 and 10 people in line waiting on ones to get there. So we finally found a shop in Alabama, and we put we had to put a deposit down to hold it, a non-refundable deposit, so there's no turning back. And I got a 2021 Honda Talon 1000X four-seater. So one thing through researching side by sides, CVTs are awesome. They're great. You lose a huge amount of horsepower to a CVT. And you still burn through belts. Even on a Razor, they're great engineered vehicles, but you're still going to go. So, Mr. Beast, I'll answer your question in just a second. So basically, I wanted gears and another thing is Honda is my favorite brand of off-road vehicle. Whether it's a dirt bike, four-wheeler, Honda is my go-to brand. So we got the Honda Talon. Like I said, we did a four-seater, and it's dual clutch. It has the pedal shifters at 6 speed, and I've heard nothing but good things about them. We already lined up a collaboration with Side by Side Blogs, so that's going to be pretty sick. Those guys look like a super fun time to hang out with. So I don't know when I'm getting that side by side because I did have to put a deposit down for the next one they receive. They don't know when they're going to receive them. They said that it could be in a week or it could be 2 months. They haven't received one in 2 to 3 months, so they're due for one. But Honda only basically they'll get an invoice saying, "Hey, we got a Talon on your way," and that's when they know they're getting them. One cool thing that it has is Fox Live Valve, so it has electronic shocks that basically 6 times a second they're checking, their how stiff and soft they need to be. So it's insane. They say how good they handle. Again, they're super awesome. So yeah, we definitely are pumped about that. So we are so excited. I'm telling you, every single day I think about that side by side because And the only reason I got a side by side, obviously we build stuff, but I'm constantly when I build like Randy's cart, that took a good chunk out of my time to build my own stuff, and then Randy leaves with it at the end of the day. So we do all that building, you guys get to see it, but we don't get to enjoy it. You know, the customer does. So that's like even this diesel deuce. That's the what's going to end up happening with it. As soon as we're done, we'll ride it a few times, make some good ride videos. Then it'll be gone. Then we spent that whole huge chunk of time for a vehicle, but we don't have it no more. So that's one thing you guys got to understand. Like at Windrock last year, when I didn't have, well, I rode my blue buggy. Becca rode the Ace. So I rode the piece of junk Blueberry, the Smurf, and the pulley started messing up, and it just, I'm telling you, it drove me crazy. Nacho's dad, the diesel Deuce will go to Windrock before I sell it for sure. But so yeah, the next meetup I will be on my supercharged buggy, and Miss Redbeard will probably be on the Talon. Or we did buy a 2015 Kubota diesel for dirt cheap because it's in rough shape. Like it looks great from 20 feet away, but you get closer to it and it's rough. It's I don't know if it was in a salt mine or what, but it's got some rust on it. But the diesel runs great. It needs some stuff, but we bought it for so cheap we couldn't pass it up. And we're about to start making videos on it next week, getting it to drive. It won't go in gear. Pretty sure the shifter cable's rusted out, so we're going to repair all the rust damage, and then basically we'll have a rescue vehicle for our meetups. Thank you, Ronan, for spending some of your night with us. We really appreciate it. Um, so, but are you going to build the big Rascal? Probably not. I'm not a huge fan of non-suspension mini bikes. It's just I don't ride them. The little Rascal is a great little bike, and it's been in my enclosed trailer for since we did that last video. It's been sitting in there, hasn't been touched. It's a fun bike, but we like I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of non-suspension mini bikes. We like to ride off road, and I like to keep my spine in my back. Um, so can you make a diesel cart fast? This diesel cart, I wouldn't call it fast, but it's going to run 35, 40 mile per hour, something around that when we're done with it. But, um, but yeah, we got a Kubota pulley for that diesel that is super weighted. So it'll kick in at like 6 to 700 RPMs. Mr. B, sorry. I've seen you call me in 1,000. Sorry for missing it. What project took the longest to build? Honestly, my buggy did, but it didn't take a lot of time to build. It was just again, I have certain amount of videos a month I got to do for sponsors to be able to afford to do this, so it wasn't a sponsored build. There's no Go Power Sports parts on it. We didn't have companies like PB Blaster back then sponsoring videos, so it was on my own dime. So when it's on my own dime, just like this four-seater buggy is, it takes longer for you guys to see stuff come out on it basically. So my buggy took the longest, but it didn't take that long, honestly. Like if we could put all that time straight, just day after day, I built that buggy in probably a month, start to finish. And you got to think adding film time. I'm saying if I didn't have to film it, just built that buggy, 3 to 4 weeks, I could turn out a buggy running, not painted and everything, but a running driving buggy out of this garage. But the simple fact of filming it takes, I would say, filming takes extends it 3 times the time because I'm not only filming it and prepping stuff to film it, but I gotta edit that video, which takes time out of my week. So honestly, I think like this Deuce. Let's say I had all the parts laid in front of me. That's another thing is waiting on the machine shop, waiting on parts to come in the mail that you didn't know you needed. Just stuff like that really holds up stuff. Um, so yeah, it's that's probably the longest one that we've done. We use Premiere Pro CC, which is basically it's a Premiere, and you pay monthly for it now. You can't buy their program no more, which I'm fine with because it always stays up to date. And you know, so someone asked something. You work on other people's go karts? Sometimes I do, like I got a go kart now I'm working on for a guy. This is the thing. We're an expensive shop. We're like taking it to an ATV shop or something. We have we charge 75 an hour in this shop to work on people's stuff, and that's a lot of money to pay for a go kart to get working on. And I'm just a realist. Like I would say, watch my videos and try to do it yourself. I understand if you need fabrication work done and you don't have you don't have a welder, grinder and stuff. I understand you got to pay someone to do that, but we're 75 an hour, whether it's fabricating or mechanic work. We're real honest with our time. Um, but we do also have we have a 2 hour shop minimum. So basically, if you brought say you brought a go kart to get a seat put on it, no one's going to do that. But let's say someone brought a go kart for me to put a seat on it, and it's only going to take 1 hour of time. Um, basically, I would have to charge $150 to put that seat on, or I wouldn't touch the go kart. Even if it took me 10 minutes to do it, it's still a $150 minimum in our shop because of the fact that I normally have stuff in my bays I got to clean out and get ready to have something in the shop. I don't want to go work on gravel outside, or I wouldn't have bought a 60 by 28 shop to work in. So that's how we have to do it. It's completely different for you guys, of course, because if you're living at home, you can work out your dad's garage, your mom's garage, and have a small set of tools. Of course, you're not going to charge 75 an hour because experience and tools come with that price. You have to have the stuff to do stuff. But you could charge $15 an hour starting out, to do basic stuff, clean the carburetor. Just make sure you triple check your work and do stuff safe. You don't want to get someone hurt, of course. But you have a potential to, in a year, you're more knowledgeable now because you worked on 10 go karts or 10 lawnmowers for people, and then you can start charging $30 an hour. And the thing is, you got to be fast. If something takes you 6 hours, it should have took 1 hour. You're going to have to charge them for 1 hour because it's not their fault that that depends also. But if you should have been able to get that job done in an hour and you stripped a bolt in a head, and then it takes you 4 hours, that's not their fault. You stripped that bolt. So that's another thing you got to look at with owning a business. You got to be fair on your time because that person's going to be fair to you and bring their work back to you. Someone asked how long it took me. Said congratulations, thank you, Mr. Builds. Um, Congratulations on almost 300,000 subs. May I ask how long it took you to gain 1,000? I've been working on a goal for 5 months on my channel. I have no clue. I can't remember the early days, like of how long it took. And I wish I could. You would think I would. I mean, it's been like 6 years. So I remember putting the first video out in like I went after this as a job. I didn't go after it as a hobby that turned into a job. I knew how to make money on YouTube. I knew marketing because I've always been good at selling stuff and things like that. So I knew how to market myself, and so I can't remember how long. I mean, I'm sure somewhere's in the analytics on my YouTube page, I could go back and see how long it took, see the growth of my channel since the time it started till now, and see how long it took me to hit 1,000, to hit 10,000, and I need to really do that. That would be pretty sweet because I can't remember it. I'm sure it could be on Facebook or something, like on my personal page, I would imagine, because we didn't have a Red Beard's Garage page, and I don't know when we made it, like at what point, but yeah, it's been we're almost at 300,000. We're giving away a mini bike at 300,000. It'll probably happen a little after 300,000, but that's the 300,000 giveaway. And we're going to start doing giveaways at every 100,000 subscribers gained. So at 400,000, we'll give away probably another mini bike or something, or a smaller go kart. And then at 500,000 subscribers, we'll probably end up giving away a full blown buggy. So there's going to be some big giveaways starting to come. And we're going to be doing hopefully a giveaway with Prime Welds, giving away a MIG welder very soon. We're trying to set up just more giveaways. We used to do a lot more giveaways, but the simple fact is stuff gets busy and we get sidetracked, honestly. Like I have all these plans of doing stuff. We need merch extremely bad. I haven't wanted to spend the money on merch right now because it's just to get merch in here is thousands of dollars to be able to sell it. So Mini bike for beginners, I always say save up and buy a Trailmaster MV200. You will not regret it. It's the best mini bike, hands down. Uh, but um, but yeah, so that's pretty much a gist of I kind of explained how our shop works now, and it's changed, of course. Over I've always worked on people's stuff. It was wiring stuff back in the day. Like I would wire, TVs and headrests and subs and stuff, backup cameras, and I absolutely hated it. I did not like doing that, but it was good money. Um, so someone's asking what I think about Coleman's. I don't like them personally. I think they're the lowest mini bike in the chain. I don't like them at all. So I'll tell you, I'm about to. I'm about to hit the old tater sack. Uh, Everybody else, Miss Redbeard went to bed at. She got home at 7. She was beat. She laid down, went to sleep, woke up 3 hours later, hung out with me for an hour or so, and then she's back in bed. Um, the Trailmaster does have good suspension right out of the box. It's a great bike, I'm telling you. But but yeah, but again, we don't like Coleman mini bikes. We're not a huge fan of them. We used to because that's all there was, and then when the Trailmaster came out, there was no comparison. It was all we needed. But everybody's different though. But we really appreciate you guys hanging out, spending your time with us. This is kind of, like I said, a late live stream. Normally we do them at 9 or so. We're going to try to do them on Tuesdays. I'll try to get, it's probably going to be almost impossible to get Lonnie because he goes to bed about 9:30 because he wakes up really early. Um, so, yeah, we're basically, I can't get Lonnie unless it's earlier in the day. And I feel like live streams do better at night. So we'll try to plan. And we're still, we've been saying for years we're going to do a podcast, but we don't have a stable enough internet right now. So we can't do a podcast, basically. I can do this live stream off my phone, but to do the podcast like we want to do, and I will be on John's podcast when we go up for the race. So you'll see me on an episode of that. Um, but yeah, so we'll be doing podcast in the near future. Internet to get internet rented to this building is $5,500, and that's another thing. It's just like, well, that'll get done when it gets done. But we're wanting to get all that stuff done, and then, uh, yeah, we'll make huge headway on it, and then we'll get the live stream area made. So that's why I built my apartment, which is actually my office. This is supposed to be the engine build room, but this is my office right now. So when we build our house, which will probably be next year, basically that will be my office, which will be huge. It has a kitchen in it, nice living room area, and we'll make an awesome live stream area, or do a podcast in, and then this will finally become my engine room to build engines in. We're about to put some racks in here to do merch. We have a new logo and stuff, so we got a lot of stuff coming out. Chad, I'm sure. Just email us at Chad at greg@rbgcarts.com, and we can talk, baby. But Starlink, I did check on it. They're not offering it till later this year. Really, I just want Charter. 5,500 is a lot to spend, but I think that's 300 megabits or 400 megabits download. So that's what I want, honestly. I would do Starlink right now if it was available in my area, but they're not doing it just yet. Ryan, I've seen your 5,000 comments. I didn't see anything that needed answered. Some people get pretty upset about not getting there. There's still 77 people in here, and a lot of them's commenting, so we try to answer all we can. Someone said Reese, I guess, said I pretty much got a stock 212 except for the header. What do you think I should do to it next? Carburetor upgrade next would be great. My question is about the Harbor Freight V twin. I want to build one for a mud motor. How do you build the most power before reliability suffers? I mean, I think honestly, my engine would be super reliable. I don't think it's not reliable, but the supercharger is definitely cutting down the life of that engine. Um, so I'd say just, I mean, I do milled and ported heads, billet rods, billet flywheel, all that's just, all those performance parts. The heads, of course, are adding more performance, but the billet parts are giving you that reliability that you never even had factory. So I think doing what we've done, even to the supercharged engine, just without the supercharger would be great for sure. Uh, so, what is better, Tillotson 212 electric start Hemi or Predator 212 Hemi? I mean, I'm a Tillotson fan for sure. Tillotsons are the best, in my opinion. It ain't like you're going to take it out of the box and be blown away with the horsepower over a 212, but they are great engines. They're really high quality, and they're worth the extra money, in my opinion, for sure. What's the limit of the block is a good question. He's talking about, I'm guessing, the same guy with the 670 question. Mine's pushing the limits of the block because you got to think those V twins, not even Hondas, have bearings in the case, which I think is crazy. What I'm wanting to do is buy me a 670 from Harbor Freight soon, and I'm wanting to. I would love to get a billet side cover made for it. That's what I think Performance 670 needs to make is a billet side cover that adds a bearing for the crankshaft. And then I think it'd be sweet to empty out a block and have the machine shop mill out the flywheel side and let me TIG weld a race in like a chunk of aluminum that's been machined to hold a bearing and basically add bearings to the crankshaft. And I think that would make the 670 just, miles better. It'd be way, way better. um, so that's the biggest weak point. That's where I think I'm going to end up having problems. I think I'm going to either crack a block at the crankshaft journals, I guess you call them, or that's what I would think their weak point is. I have a 6.5 power engine. How do I make it faster? Watch our videos. More fuel, more air. Um, there's a ton of stuff for sure. So, can you sleeve the block? You can sleeve a 670 block. Yes, they're sleeved, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where the crankshaft runs through the block. There's no bearings. It's just steel on aluminum, and it's just a stupid design. I don't understand it. Why would you do that? 212s have bearings, for Pete's sakes. So I don't know why. And one thing I want to do as well is I thought about after the dyno video, I thought about pulling my crankshaft pistons and rods and send them off to get balanced because you got to think that engine ain't balanced for 9,000 RPMs, and that's what we can turn that 670. Um, so basically, I want to send it off to get balanced, and then maybe one of the buggies at powder coat, I can do that. We can balance the crankshaft, and then I can go in there and try to add those bearings. And basically, the machine shop would take the side cover, mill it out, let me TIG weld a new milled piece of aluminum that would add that bearing to the side cover side, and I do the same thing to the block. I think that would be so sweet. Uh, yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. I've tried to answer a ton of your guys' questions. Um, it's hard to get to everyone, so um, just be easy on us. Bob Griffin, thank you for your donation. YouTube channel plug. Possum Kingdom Power Sports. There you go, brother. Thank you for your donation. But Ryan's wanting me to send him a swing arm. Not done that. But thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate all the support. And we'll be back. We'll have a video coming out tomorrow on the forks on the 301 mini bike, and then we're about ready to really abuse that thing, see what it'll do. So stay tuned for tomorrow, and thank you so much for your support. We love you guys, and we appreciate every one of you. God bless.